Hey everyone, Raider here. Hope you're all doing great and having an amazing day. So this is my first video back since the family and I just wrapped up a big family move. So super excited to be back here on YouTube. We're going to start off with a little bit of an easy video and cover the S Pen case for the Galaxy Z Fold 6. So here is the Z Fold 6 in navy blue. We have the matching corresponding case for it. Very similar to what we saw last year with the Z Fold 5, so it should be a pretty similar experience, except I hear it is quite a bit thinner. So let's go ahead and get it unboxed and take a look. The retail price on this right now, as of the making of this video, is 80 bucks. Let's go ahead and get it unboxed. All right, here's everything you get in the box. We have our front cover here with a whole bunch of adhesive all the way around it. Some very thick instructions for a case. This is kind of ridiculous. I mean, my goodness, it's thicker than the case itself. All right, and then we have the case itself, and it is quite a bit different than last year's model. The texture is significantly different. This year's model feels a lot more plasticky, where this one felt like it has just a little bit of a soft material touch to it. Also new for this year, obviously, we can see before even putting it on the device, is a completely different camera cutout section. So we had individual cutouts in last year's model, whereas we have an individual lip with added bumper protection here. I do like that a lot. So if we compare that to last year's, let's take a look. Yeah, there's no additional protection at all. So this kind of rested flush with the camera rings. It just covered it up just a little bit. I no longer have the 5. I already traded it into Samsung. But here on the Z Fold 6, you see we have quite a bit of extra protection. The case itself appears to be thinner than last year's as well, as far as the case material. Not by as much as I was thinking though. They were making it sound like this was going to be a lot thinner. That's not the case. It's still pretty firm. It's still pretty rigid. I'd say it's nearly just as thick. Another thing though that's changed is on last year's, we can see that the pen kind of stays recessed with the case. You see how there's that little lip there? So I put it there in camera. We have a little bit of a lip. However, on this year's model, we kind of have a mountain there. You know, the pen does look a little bit more recessed in there. It's probably good for making it a little bit more secure, because if we go to last year's model, it did not take much to pop this pin out of here. All you had to do was flex it a little bit and the pin will pop right out. I mean, it really is a loose fit on last year's. So let's go ahead and get this sticker off here. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the Z Fold 6, but I'm not gonna permanently put this thing on with the adhesive because I do have other cases to review. Let's go ahead and get it on here. All right, this should be nothing more than popping this right onto the back. Yep, just as I expected. Let's go ahead and see how this front sits on here without any adhesive applied. All right, so it did take a little bit to get the front on without taking the tape off. That's good, it's a nice secure fit. Looks like we have a very large bump as far as you know, putting this thing down face down like that. So you're gonna protect your front cover screen quite well with this case, a lot more so than last year's. Go around to the sides, we'll check out all our cutouts. So it looks like we have a full cutout for our rocker arm and power button. So these are going to be completely exposed. I kind of like this. You get the natural feel of your device and get to see a little bit of the color coming through on the side of the case. As we discussed earlier, we have plenty of camera protection here. So that's looking really nice. And let's see with this raised bump here, if it makes it a little more flat when you put it on the surface here. It does. There's only a little bit of rock compared to last year's being quite a bit. So that bump does kind of help us out just a little bit. Now the S Pen feels quite a bit more secure this year. We still have the same tactic of pushing down here to pop it out. I'm not the hugest fan of this. All right, we'll go ahead and look at the S Pen here. We have a nice different color button, which makes it a little bit easy to see. Kind of like what we had for last year. You can see it kind of stand out a little bit. I like that a lot because it is kind of hard to make out where that button is sometimes. Otherwise, I gotta level with you, they look pretty much identical. I don't see any differences whatsoever. Inserting the S Pen is just a matter of clicking it into place, and ejecting the S Pen is just a matter of pushing on that button. Let's go ahead and check the remaining cutouts. Here's our bottom section with our USB-C connection and our speakers. We already checked out the volume and power buttons. Now up here on top, we have our microphone cutouts as well as our top speaker section. And then it looks like we don't have any real protection for the hinge when it's folded up, which is a little unfortunate, so do be careful if you drop your device. Hopefully it doesn't land like that. Let's go ahead and pop it open real quick. Adds a little bit to the bezel around there. Let's see if we have any front protection here. If we lay it down flat, looks like there's just a little bit if we bring this down on its front face. Not really so much though, not as much as on the front cover screen. One side effect I'm noticing of this S Pen holder here kind of protruding out a little bit, it makes it kind of nice for holding onto it in the back here. It adds an extra level of like hand support when you have it unfolded like this. That's pretty nice. Though I will confess, I typically kind of just hold it like this with my left hand. But that is nice for those of you that want to mix it up as far as your holding positions. Let's go ahead and weigh it up real quick. I can't find my scale since the move. I will soon though. But so I'm using my girls real quick. Kitchen scale. All right, we're looking at 38 grams. Let's see how that compares to last year's model. All right, last year's 42 grams, so we're looking at 4 grams lighter this year. Hey, that's nice. We'll take the weight reduction for sure. And lastly, let's go ahead and check out the S Pen. Make sure this works as advertised. Do keep in mind you're not going to get the Bluetooth functionality with the Z Fold 6 S Pen, but it does feature everything else that you would expect, and the writing experience is really nice. It really is. I like it a lot, and the crease doesn't bother me at all. It is kind of subjective as to whether or not it's going to be troublesome for you, but I really do think it's a non-issue for most people. Like writing across this, I barely even notice it, and I really do enjoy this extended screen real estate that we have for taking notes. You know, you don't feel as cramped as you do on something like a regular slab phone. So it is really nice if you're wanting to use the S Pen. So the S Pen case from Samsung, it's kind of a must-get thing unless you want to buy the S Pen separately, which you can do, and get a third-party case. But otherwise, this way you get it all inclusive. You get the S Pen with the case, roughly 80 bucks. I think it's worth it. I mean, this is kind of just the daily driver case that I think most of you will use if you're the type of person that likes to utilize the S Pen. All right, if you have any questions or comments about the official S Pen case for the Galaxy Z Fold 6, please drop them down in the comments section below. I really do appreciate your time, and as always, thanks for watching.